Hello, everyone, and welcome to another English with Joseph. This is very much holiday time here in Barcelona. These shops, which usually would be open at this time of night, are all closed and have been for the last week or so. It's very strange for me that a country which thrives on tourism can simply close a lot of shops for 1 week or 2 weeks at a time. Part of me is a little bit jealous because it's very unusual in the UK, or for people in the UK, to have a month off work. Here in Spain, August is a month where people do nothing. It's a month where most local businesses will be closed for at least 2 weeks. And the idea of them being open, especially at the height of the tourist season, is a little bit strange for them. For me, this is senseless. It's very nice, on one hand, that they're looking after themselves, of course, and having the right ideas about spending a month at home or away, in a holiday home or wherever. But they probably could make enough money in this month to last them many months, or even to perhaps last them a year. So, to use an English proverb, they're probably shooting themselves on the foot, which means injuring themselves in a way that's not going to help them move on. Anyway, even for me, I've been a little bit quiet in this month, but I can see that it's beginning to pick up now. But I still do have a lot of free time. If you would like to book any lessons with me, you're more than welcome to come and ask me about my calendar. There's a few things I'd like to talk to you about today. One of the things I would like to mention is about an email I've had. Remember, I don't receive comments on Dailymotion, so if there's anything you want to say to me, you have to write to me in the details on the site. I think my email is there. Or you can see my blog and contact me on Facebook or Twitter. Anyway, I had an email from someone asking me, is it possible to learn English from religious texts? Is it possible to learn English from religious texts? He asks this question because a lot of people have rushed out and bought English Bibles, for example, or an English version of the Quran, thinking that they can somehow learn English from it. Or maybe because it's religious, they think they'll get an added blessing from whatever spiritual deity they approach. Well, my answer is simple. If you really are someone who takes those books very seriously, and you are using those books daily in your life in your own language, then yes, of course, you should try and buy them and bring them into your English practice. But if you're someone who doesn't look at those books every day, or someone who is only buying them just because they're nice souvenirs to sit on the shelf, the answer, of course, is no. So again, can religious texts help me learn English? Yes, if you love them. No, if you don't. If you read them every day, then you can sit side by side with your own translation in your own language and an English translation. Now, there's a few problems with that. The first problem is that the English translations of both the Bible and the Quran, there's so many of them, especially the Bible. There's something like 26 different versions of the Bible that I know of. And depending on which version you have in your own language, they may simply use different words to give you the same message. So it may be a bit of a waste of time. You'd have to do some research as to whether it would be something similar that you're looking at. It's the same with the Quran. I think that there's 3 or 4 translations into English that I know of. At least one of those uses classical English language. And again, how they would compare to your native language, I'm not sure. Okay? Certainly, as far as the Bible is concerned, the King James Version is the one you should always be looking for. Or in modern style English, the King James, I think it's actually called the New King James Version, would be a good one, because the King James has old language with thee and thou instead of you, which is Shakespearean English. It's a very high form of English. So you could use the New King James Version. And as far as the Quran's concerned, the Marmaduke Pickthall version or the Abdullah Yusuf Ali versions might be something you could look at. They're the 2 best ones, I think, that I know of. So again, yes, you certainly could look at using or exploring these texts. How much use there would be in terms of a day-to-day translation, I'm not really very sure, but if you are interested in that and you feel that these are books you use anyway, then yes, you should, but don't buy them if you think that in some superstitious way the English Bible or the English Quran is going to help you, because there is no magical way of learning English. You have to do what everyone else does, and that is practice. Okay, so I hope that's of some help. Okay, changing the subject slightly. I was talking last week about some humor we have in English. And one of the things I was talking about was the idea of the jokes about the mother-in-law. The mother-in-law is something which many English people like to joke about. The mother-in-law is a target for many jokes. And I'd like to share a few of those with you. You might have to translate them, so that's a little job for you as well. Okay, the first mother-in-law joke is: a man and a woman are walking down the road, a husband and wife, and the wife looks across the road and she sees her mother being attacked by 3 men. So she quickly turns to her husband and she says, "Look, my mother is being attacked. Are you going to help?" And the man replies, "No, I think 2 is enough." I think 2 is enough. So the joke there, of course, is that he thought she was saying, are you going to help those men attack my mother? Not, are you going to help my mother? So it's very funny. The other mother-in-law joke I know of is quite a simple one, but I need to explain to you, first of all, a tradition that we have in England. Sometimes when we pass a fountain of water, sometimes we throw a coin into the water and we make a wish. So for example, if I'm walking past a fountain, I might throw in a penny or a euro cent here in Spain, and I might make a wish. For example, I hope I pass my exams, or I hope my students have better English. Although I think it will take more than a wish in a wishing well for some of you. Anyway, this is what we this is a tradition that we have. We throw a penny into the water and we make a wish in the wishing well. So one of those jokes is: my mother-in-law fell into a wishing well yesterday. I had no idea that those things actually worked. Okay, so let me just explain that again. My mother-in-law fell into a wishing well yesterday. I had no idea that those things actually worked. So the joke is that the man obviously wished that his mother-in-law would have an accident in the wishing well. He threw a penny in, he said, I wish my mother-in-law would have an accident. And she did. And he's commenting on the fact that I had no idea that if you made a wish in a wishing well, that the wish would come true. Okay, so that's a little bit of humour for you for this evening. Remember, you can always catch me on Twitter, McTaggartJ7, or on Facebook, English with Joseph. You can also get me on italki through my link at the top of this Daily Motion page, or on my website, englishwithjosephblog.wordpress.com. So, that's all from me today, and I wish you a very, very good night from Barcelona, where all the shops are closed. Bye bye.